Hey guys, welcome to the AI-HPC Virtual Summit. And I'm Terry, represented GARAOTUS. Today we are going to go through some subjects right here. And we are very happy to invite the guest from Intel, George. And also the guest from Advantech, Albert. And then, yeah, this is Terry. Today we are going to go through a couple subjects right here. First of all, we are going to go through the genomic, what's happening about the genomic analytics industry. And then we are going to, next one, we are going to go through what happens in the real world. And then we are going to represent the final solution to you guys, okay? And then I hope you enjoyed the show. Let's start it from the market data represented by Intel. George, that will be your showtime.
Thank you, Terry. Hi, everyone from my home in Canada. So I just want to say hi, everybody. And before we start off with the market data, I want to talk a bit about history. In 2007, almost 13 years ago, the Human Genome Project started off with 10 human genomes, and we have seen each genome cost over $10 million in sequencing. That's over $100 million 13 years ago. In 2017, we already have $1,000 per genome and over 1 million human genomes sequenced. And this is a very big trend in the world as genomics become a critical part of the healthcare system. Nebula Genomics is already offering a whole genome sequencing for now $300 in 2020. And this is a trend that will continue to grow as genomics becomes a very critical part of solving and improving precision medicine. On the next page, I want to talk about key trends in precision medicine genomics. There's a global genomics market size of over $18.8 billion in 2019, and it's projected to continue to grow until 2027 to $82.60 billion with an over CAGR of 19.5%. So this is all spurred by a few market trends and drivers. The first one being the increased market budget allocation for genomics. And this is because the world sees a very strong positive influence, and pharmaceuticals see the value of doing genomics in to help increase development of new drugs. The second major trend is new products and innovation services. If we see, for example, companies like 23andMe and companies like Circle DNA, they are driving new consumer version of genomics use cases, such as finding your ancestry and finding what potential risks for diseases that you may have. So this is a very strong part in developing precision medicine. And finally, there's a few new market trends, such as a number of influx of startups trying to build genomic solutions and help scale different types of business models. And finally, the government is also playing a very big factor in driving genomics sequencing. There's majority projects being developed globally in order to help drive specific analysis for certain populations. Like, for example, Singapore is currently working on a Asia genomics project called Genome Asia 100,000. And this is a project which is used to help analyze a variety of different Asian populations, such as India, Singapore, Japan, and the rest of Asia, trying to analyze different types of trends in genomics. And this can help lead to new types of drug discovery. In April 2020, there is a new project called SARS-CoV-2 full-length genome sequencing. It's a service where the different genome variations and mutations are being discovered and followed. So we can actually have pharmaceuticals see the different changes in mutations of the COVID and adjust the vaccine treatment for each of the different variations. So this is important for public safety. If you go on page 3, you can see a global view of all the different levels of sequencing already underway. If you look at all the different countries, many of the countries are developing their own genome programs. As we discussed with the Genome Asia 100,000 program, Dr. Peterson, who's head of molecular biology at Genentech, is now leading drug discovery efforts due to the results generated by Genome Asia. An example is people who have heart disease. They need a drug called warfarin, but warfarin generates a lot of adverse drug responses. And in this particular case, these drug responses are much more sensitive to North Asian ancestry like Japanese, Korean, Mongolian, and Chinese. So now drug makers can then tailor their drug efficiency to help the people who are in negative predisposition to that specific drug. So knowing a person's population group and their predisposition to drugs is extremely important if we want to continue to push personalized medicine. And this is where the whole world's trend is starting to happen. So it's very obvious that companies like Intel and Advantech and GARAOTUS is in the right place to drive these new innovative solutions to help accelerate this large-scale sequencing. So back to you, Terry.
Thank you, George. Obviously, from the slides you just presented, we can see the number of, the number of sequencing happening in China, South Korea. They are growing fast. And then I believe this story is happening in the global market as well. Am I right?
Very, very much so. We can see this trend happening very strongly in Japan, in Vietnam, in Indonesia, as countries are looking to tailor their drug discovery and their drug efficiency for each of the different types of markets.
Yes, you know the story happening in this year 2020. The global is attacked by the COVID-19, and then this issue pushed the genome sequencing or the genomic analysis the demand from this market is pretty, intensive, and then everybody's trying to find out the solution as soon as possible to solve the problems, right?
And the whole effort to utilize genomics to solve the different types of variations in the gene will definitely impact every single person, as the drug will be now personalized for each different type of person in the future. So one person who is more susceptible than another person for COVID related vaccines. So you will see the different variation, and that is what genomics is here to help find out for us, is the different variations in people's susceptibility as well as effectiveness of the drugs.
Hey, George, thank you for your sharing about the market data. Well, actually, in the past 6 months, GARAOTUS is working with a medical center in Taiwan. We are working with the medical center to build up their brand new high-performance computing data center. The mission is very simple. They try to build up a brand new high-performance computing resources for the genomic analytics project. However, GARAOTUS, we need to help them to resolve the issue about the isolated high-performance computing resources in DNA sequencing. And then that's a solution we try to deliver to the medical center. We call this is a GARAOTUS cloud platform. This is architecture, high-level architecture point of view about GARAOTUS cloud platform right here. Obviously, there are 4 systems under the cloud platform. The first one we call AI cloud. The second one is HPC cloud. Number 3 is OpenStack cloud. And then number 4, which is image repository. Let's talk about the image repository. This part, image repository, this is prepared for the AI cloud and also HPC cloud. As you know, guys, when you run in an AI model or try to train an AI model right here, we need to build up a template, which is full of, let's say, TensorFlow or AI training frameworks right here. So we build up an image repository, and then for the researchers, they are easily to access the prepared template from the image repository. So they can build it up in the AI cloud and also HPC cloud. The interesting thing in this system is about every single system right here, they require different storage system. Let's say AI cloud. There is a container running inside of AI cloud. And then in this type of scenario, they need a high IOPS storage right here because when you try to build up, when you try to train in the AI model, you need a fast access storage to ensure the model can be trained pretty well right here. And then we can talk about, let's say, a storage for the AI-HPC cloud backup, because you can see here, we have the container right here, physical server here, and also virtual machine here. So every single computing resource are different. And then we need to build up a unified storage, which is able to support container, singularity, and also virtual machines right here. So, this is a complicated system right here. And then this is also the challenge we try to help the customer to resolve. And then GARAOTUS cloud platform, we are able to deliver a simple user portal to unify the complex system and then deliver a simple user experience for AI computing service, for HPC computing service, iService, and also image repository service. So this is the entire story about the Gene Analytics as a service story right here. This is a workflow happening in the medical center. Hey, Albert, basically, you can see here, we got an AI center right here and also inference model right there. So what is your opinion or advice?
First of all, the training module should be produced from the AI center.
Okay.
And if the prediction percentage up to 95%, and the AI center will deliver the ready training module to the inference side.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Will be delivered to the inference side, right?
Yeah.
If the prediction, the result is under 95%, and then the system will trigger a flow to roll back the data to the AI center.
Yeah, and the AI center will train the data again and
retrain the model again to ensure the prediction rate is over 98%.
Yeah, and the workflow will continuously working, to make sure the inference side, the operation side, can keep the precise percentage up to 95%.
Okay, to ensure that the prediction rate is over a 95% or to a certain rate, right?
Yeah. Once the prediction rate is under 95%, it will trigger the retrain mechanism.
Yes, it is. Okay, got it. But when we talk about the flow before the model is trained, or before the entire workflow ready, we need a mechanism we call GATK. For the AI model training, right?
Yes.
GATK is a tool train or toolkit designed for genomic analytics. And then, George, can you share with us about the GATK stuff?
Great. So the Broad Institute is an institute created by MIT and Harvard to help scale researchers' ability to analyze a massive amount of genomics data from diverse sources worldwide. On the next page, we're going to talk about our 10-year relationship that we have with the Genomics Data Engineering Center and with the Broad. And we're on heading to our 5th year of our partnership, which was started in 2017. This relationship has helped a lot in terms of developing 3 major points. One is we developed optimized software stack to analyze genomes faster and at a greater scale. The second one is we've leveraged key technologies to allow even faster data sets to be analyzed and deliver scientific and medical breakthroughs. And third, we enable and qualify turnkey configuration setup and deployments of infrastructure to run on genomic analysis. On the next page, we talk about some of the innovations we have done with the Broad Institute. The Intel Select Solutions version 1 was implemented at the Broad Institute and have delivered over 5 times the performance right away. And we're working with Intel to help create those GATK best practices and help those pipelines run even faster. We're working with Advantech and GARAOTUS to deliver version 2.0 of the Select solutions and help generate even faster pipelines and optimizations for delivering analytics to the researchers in the medical environment. On the next page, working with Intel, we have enabled the Broad Institute to enable that GATK to become open source. Originally, it was a closed source engagement, and with Intel support, we are able to broaden GATK to be used globally. There are many different variants of toolkits, and they're all mostly based on GATK. And given that we have optimized Intel CPU on GATK, most of these variants based on GATK will also inherit those speed improvements. So here are a few of the key comments made by a number of very prominent researchers on how GATK is helpful to their research. On page 8, on the next page, these are some of the key highlights of GATK that we have done with the market. And we've increased overall efficiency, speed, scalability, robust parallelism, and cloud execution and analysis scope. On the next page, we talk about how genomics database, DB, can be, the feature can help improve significantly the amount of whole genome sequencing that we can store in a system. So you can see a significant improvement over 5 times, being able to store hundreds of thousands of genomes and being able to be packaged with GATK 4. And finally, on the last page, we're working with GARAOTUS and Advantech to build Select Solutions version 2. It is there to improve the performance, which is over 6.4 whole genomes per sequence per node per day, and it's up 60% throughput over the previous generation. And it gives a much better ROI with a single 5-node config and replacing the file system BOM with required specifications. And finally, we improved the user experience using a Intel Select verification benchmark so that performance is guaranteed for each of the Select Solutions platforms. It is new improved installation guide, and it's a refreshed software to use single batch scheduler Slurm. And back to you, Terry.
Sure. So it's pretty exciting to see the version 2 is coming up. And then, you know, this type of system is a pretty good solution, but we need a reliable, fast hardware to support the entire workflow. And then that would be the advantage from Advantech. Okay. Albert, can you talk about Advantech products right here?
Sure, no problem. Basically, the deployment of genomics analytics is not easy. So for Intel Select Solution, Advantech provides an end-to-end optimized Sky 540 server, which can be combined to build a HPC cluster for specific workflow and meet user requirements from the ground up. And so Sky 540 is a HPC-ready system to speed time for production, performance improvement, and scale out easily with its multi-node design.
Okay.
So Advantech collaborated with GARAOTUS to accelerate deployment progress, and we do achieve some indicator results as the slide. The first is to fulfill GATK 4.1 requirements and comparing to traditional SATA or SAS SSD, we speed up 75% performance of Burroughs-Wheeler Aligner, BWA, performance by NVMe drives.
Okay.
That is the first. And the second is capable of processing over 6 whole genome sequences, WGS, per node per day. In 2016, it could only finish less than 1 WGS per day. So the computing efficiency is much better than before. And the next is our architecture is validated with GATK best practices. And we pass, Advantech cooperated with GARAOTUS, we passed the performance requirements to get engineering certification from Intel Select Solution
yes, exactly.
program. Yeah. And apart from the achievements I just mentioned, the key point is that all workflow can be deployed remotely, which means we don't have to worry about the limitation of business trip due to COVID-19.
Okay.
So we can enable whole infrastructure of genomics analytics over the world. Yeah, that is key point. And please give me a little more time to share benefits of our
Sure.
Sky 5240. Okay.
Sure.
And Sky 5240 is a 2U4 node server. So what is the benefits of 2U4 node or multi-node server?
Yes.
So I would say Sky 5240 enhance the efficiency of traditional 2U server because it houses 4 nodes. You can imagine that as a 4 unique server inside a 2U chassis.
Yeah, it's a high density, right?
Yeah, high density
design.
Yeah, yeah. And each node deploys an independent workload, and it can effectively help customer to save the space and cost, especially for performance-intensive applications.
Okay.
Okay, and you can see the slide. Each high-swappable computing node is designed with dual Intel Xeon scalable processors and 24 memory DIMMs. And it also equipped with 2 PCI slots to broader choice of I/O for acceleration or offloading. So when it comes to storage capacity, each node supports 6 drives with the flexibility of NVMe, SAS, and SATA. And moreover, the longevity of Sky 5240 is up to 10 years. So which means customers can easily duplicate their business model to end customer without modification of code or settings.
I would say longevity is pretty important for the people or for the medical center because IT products is moving fast.
Yeah.
And then if the product doesn't have longevity support, that would be an issue after I would say after 3 years, if the product is end of life, and then it's kind of annoying issues for the users. So I think the longevity is pretty good for the user, especially for the genome research.
Yeah, Terry, you're right. The longevity is the biggest difference between Advantech and commercial servers.
Exactly, yes.
Yeah. So those benefits I mentioned are the reason we chose Sky 5240 to cooperate with Intel and GARAOTUS to deliver a reliable and high-performance platform.
Great.
And our ultimate goal is to help customers faster and easier analyze their big data in genomics.
Okay. Sounds good. Okay. So I believe this kind of combination, which George just mentioned about the GATK version number 2, and also the process. I would say the GATK plus the GARAOTUS cloud platform, and then with the support from Advantech, the entire package will be very impressive for the market in the coming year 2021, right?
Okay, in regards to service, we will offer on-site training or video conferencing of basic operation to our partner or end users.
Yeah, that's pretty important about the service and also how the process it is.
Yeah, and it is really important because HPC cluster is complicated. Right?
Yes.
So we will also pick some local application engineers to be coach and guide our partners and end customers in helping them to fulfill the role solving the basic technical issue. And these local engineers are level 1 support window via email or phone call when customers encounter difficult issues that they cannot deal with by themselves. So if we confirm that hardware fails, it will go through it will go through.
Level 1 support. They
The
will
level 1
replace
level.
the hardware, right?
Yeah. There are two ways to replace hardware. The first is will go through standard warranty service, and
Okay.
another one is on-site replacement service. Yeah, but if the software crashed, yeah, we usually fix issues remotely. However, in some cases, it is not allowed internet access. So we also have premium support plan.
Yeah.
So, Terry, could you please explain what is premium support plan?
Sure. Because about the software, for the software, we basically, I believe, at Advantech, you got lots of branch office around the world, right?
Yeah.
So we are going to work with your technical support team, and then we provide your team a basic education about how the software it is, and how to fix if the software is stopped for some reasons, and then we will tell your team how to diagnostic the problems, and then your team is able to remote access or local support the customer how or what happens to the software. If the software just, I would say, if the software can be resolved in a short period of time, and then with the support from Advantech, that would be great. But obviously, if the software is a bug, I would say the problem is a bug, and then your team will tell our level 2 or level 3 engineer about this kind of bug, and then we'll help the customer to resolve the software issues anyway.
Okay. And regarding RMA, because our product is a computing platform,
yes,
including software and hardware.
It's a system.
Yeah, it's a system. So it becomes a little bit complicated to carry out RMA service.
Exactly.
Yeah, for example, replacement of CPUs or cables is easy because it doesn't really impact on system.
Yes.
Yeah, but if operating system crash or drives breaks down, failure, yeah, it could be result in OS reinstallation or volume rebuilding, right?
Yes.
So, but however, no matter what kind of components need to be repaired, a level 1 local support only replace the failure part without software installation. The main reason is when customer have used the system for a couple years, basic or default configuration was for nothing, but waste of time and shipping costs. If customer send whole system to RMA center, that was nothing.
Yes.
Yeah. So, so the alternative
solution, yes.
The alternative solution is we give clear instruction in user manual to assist customer to prepare a environment for remote connection. Yeah, that would be better, right? But as I mentioned before, if there is any policy or security issue to prohibit internet access, we have premium support plan.
Yeah, premium support plan will be discussed with the customer case by case, because every single customer, they got different requirement.
Yeah.
So that will be another story.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right.
So anyway, guys, thank you, because the time is going to the end, and then I really appreciate the guests from Intel, George, and then also the guests from Advantech, Albert, and then I appreciate your support, and then let's go for it, and then see how we can help the world let's see how to provide a better solution for this market in the next year, okay? See you guys next time. Thank you.
See you.